I can remember one day going and looking in the mirror and seeing somebody, not me, a shell of me, not recognizing who I'm looking at anymore, and understanding that I was a drug addict. That's all I was, and that's all I was going to be. I used to go to church with my mom. She would take us, and my dad would go every once in a while. And it was nice. I mean, it was something that we did. It was a Sunday thing. It never really was something that we discussed, outside of church, or that we talked about as a family. It was more of a Sunday thing. I was kind of left up to make my own decision on what I thought about God and the things that I believed in, and that kind of thing. My parents owned a bar, so it was drilled into my head about drinking and driving and underage and this and that. So that was something that was always a part of a conversation with my mom and dad. I graduated from high school. I immediately joined the United States Air Force. It was the first time I ever moved away from home. It was the first time I really experienced alcohol. And I think that that's probably where my curiosity started. I actually got married to a girl that I barely knew. I started to experiment with marijuana, and I was in the Air Force for 5 years. I moved home. When I got home, I went to work for my parents, and I worked for them. They were real excited about it. My grandfather built it. My grandfather passed away. My dad's ran it for a few years, and now I'm his son, and I've come to work for him. I started finding my way around the Charlotte County drug scene pretty quick. I first found cocaine, which it's not hard to find. And it didn't take long before I got real deep into cocaine, buying, selling, using, and all the other things that go along with it. I remember that at some point it came to a head, and I admitted that I had been doing cocaine. My parents were wondering why I wasn't going to work, what was wrong with me, why I wasn't being as social. I wasn't paying my bills, I wasn't taking care of my responsibilities, and I had to admit it because it was a problem. There was a night where I was up all night, getting high and doing what I did every night. And I got up that morning and was riding my bike to work, and I can remember when I went outside, I saw a truck kind of go around the corner real fast, and I was riding to work on my bike, and I got 2 blocks down the road, and this truck pulls up behind me, and a guy with a ski mask comes running out after me and tackles me off my bike. And I knew right away who it was. I knew it was the police. Probably the first time that this weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It's kind of strange, but all of a sudden, when I was on the way to the jail, I felt a little bit of freedom. I opened my eyes, and it was like, I can just remember looking at myself in the mirror and saying, what have you, what's going on? What did you do? What have you been doing? And got to switch into a room with 6 guys instead of just me and another guy. And in there's a little more camaraderie, and it just so happened that a few of the guys in there actually read the Bible every night. And so we'd sit and we'd read the Bible, and I wasn't really into it very much. And I can remember one day this guy comes up to me and he says, Kevin, you need to read the Bible. And he says, you just need to ask God to get you out of here because you don't belong in this place. I haven't prayed to God in years. The first prayer that I have is not going to be asking Him to get me out of this place. I don't know, maybe a week later, I can remember they were reading the Bible and they got done and lights are out, and I remember rolling over and pulling the covers over my head, and I said, God, I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you're listening to me. I don't even know if I'm going crazy right now. But if you are there and you're listening, I don't want to get out. But I do want to be okay with being here where I am. I just want to feel okay. And it's easy to look back now and to see God's hand in my life through all this stuff that I did. Because by no means do I deserve to even be here. I remember the first time I walked into TC3. They were doing their Behind the Music series, and they were playing Pearl Jam, which, growing up in the 90s, that was one of my favorite bands. And I'm like, I can remember going home and saying it was like a rock show in there. It was awesome. I went, and I was a little uncomfortable, but I think in some ways that's what church is supposed to be. I wasn't where I needed to be, obviously, but I was wanting to be. And I can remember somebody telling me one time that as you evolve in your walk with Christ, things that are okay with you today will not be okay with you tomorrow. And that is so true. I have, as I progress, I find myself thinking about things that I never thought about before. I'm not done yet. And I know I'm never going to get there. It's not about a point where I'm going to get. It's just about the search.